Okay guys, some of the students were having trouble. It kind of went to the end of the line or it didn't shave off the word. You can't be in the middle of the word, okay? So the one that you want to shave off or the one that you want to delete, you have to be at the beginning. So let's just say you want to do object. Your prompt is going to be right here on O, okay? You're in hyperkeys, you press N to start typing to insert, type that, T-H-A-T, don't move anything. Press enter, get you back into hyperkeys. Enter again is going to delete object. Okay?
This is for editing.
I'm sorry?
And this is for editing.
Editing. Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes you'll use it, sometimes you won't. It's just kind of a neat thing that you don't have to space over, press D for delete. You just enter, it automatically gets you back into hyperkeys, deletes a word, and then you go on again. The good and bad thing about it is every time you come to object now and you want to insert something by object, it's going to bring up that, just like we did. So it's going to bring up that in like a black little window, okay? So go to the word that you just deleted. You know what? Get on a totally different word. Make sure you're at the beginning of that word. You're in hyperkeys, which is Alt-Z, okay? Press in, type in that, enter, takes you back into hyperkeys, enter again, deleted it, okay? Now press Z, and press Z again until that word comes back and that is gone. Is it gone?
Yes.
Everybody's there?
Yes.
Okay. Now on that word, press N again. And see how the word that comes up?
Yeah.
It's going to do that every time you come to that word. So every time, and I'm just doing this for argument purposes, but every time you come to object, it's going to bring in that, thinking that that's what you want to do is put in that every time object was there. Don't freak out. All you do is just start typing, that little window goes away, so you can type there now. And see how the window just goes away and you just start typing? So don't freak out that that window is going to stay there or that that's what it's going to do, okay? Y'all see what it did?
Yes.
And then just press Z again and it should all go away. Z is the what? Oops key. So if you mess up, you accidentally delete something, press Z and it'll come back. But you can't like delete something, move over 3 words and say, oh man, you know what, I need to go back, press Z, because it sometimes will do it and sometimes it won't. So if you've done another command, then it doesn't remember what you did. Okay, so it has to be like right after you did it. Like say you marked a whole page worth of stuff, press delete, it's like, oh my God, what did I do? I wanted to copy it. Press Z, should come back. Don't mess with all kinds of stuff. Just start pressing that Z right away. Oops, and it should bring it back. Okay?
Here, overtype mode is on, which you can tell because there's an OVR visible on the status line at the bottom of the screen, and because the toolbar icon does not look pushed in. When I start typing to replace this word, each letter...
You see what it's doing? When it's in overtype mode? You see what it's doing? Okay, and I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? You're in the job, right? Everybody's in the job?
Yes.
Okay, at the top where the numbers are, there's a little INS. You see that INS button? See it? Seriously? You got it?
No.
Talking about the insert button?
Mm-hmm.
That's next to F12?
Yeah, that's where it is.
Oh, on your keyboard.
It's right next to F12. there should be a little INS button. Okay? If yours isn't doing what it's supposed to do, it's probably because your function button is on. So you're going to have to do function F12. Okay? So press that and see if this little thing turns from insert to OVR or from OVR to insert. It did? Okay. Put it in OVR. Everybody's in OVR?
Yes.
Yes.
Get on a word. You got it? Pull my rusty wrist out.
Did you find it?
Yeah, so FNR and
Do you have to use the function? 'Cause I
Annette?
don't have the section on
Did you
mine.
get it?
Yes.
Everybody has it?
I have
Everybody's in. Get on a word. At the beginning of a word. You're in hyperkeys. How do you get in?
Oh, Z.
Alt Z. Get out of hyperkeys and you're going to type something as what? Seriously? We've just been going over this.
You didn't type something as
Yeah. You want to type something in hyperkeys.
N.
In.
N, sorry.
The next one who doesn't remember is going to get whacked with this thing. All right? Okay, so you're out of hyperkeys now. Now start typing that. And look what happens to the word. See how it's typing into the word now? And just keep typing letters. It doesn't have to make sense. Just keep typing. See how once it gets to the end of the word, it just keeps on going? It doesn't start like deleting other words. It'll just delete usually that one word. Is that what it's doing?
You just move the other words over.
Yeah, it just moves the other words over. But it's going to delete that one word. So if you ever get in and you don't want that word deleted, but you need it to write I right here, you go into insert mode and it starts chopping this word off. It's because you're in overtype mode. Okay? And the way that you get out of it is how?
Insert. INS button.
INS button. INS. I like where you're going, but no. INS. Okay? INS is going to shift this from INS to OVR, from OVR to INS. And they do completely different things there, guys. So, I mean, you have to be careful which mode you're in. You're going to get whacked. All right? Got it?
Yeah.
Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right.
Overtypes the one that's there, and then the new letters push on as necessary.
All right. Any questions about that?
No.
No? Pretty simple stuff, but if you don't know it, you know,
So if you're in like insert mode, right?
Yeah.
And you put like you start this at the start of the sentence you put
Yeah.
we, whatever it is.
yeah.
How come it doesn't capitalize it? If you don't capitalize it.
It all depends. Sometimes it's real funny. Sometimes at the beginning of a sentence it will, sometimes it won't. But if you type it in,
It just did it right now, and it didn't do it.
and you know, it's not that hard. So if it doesn't, then all you do is hit the enter, get you back into hyperkeys, enter again, deletes the word. Now you just J over, which is left. A is what? Capitalize. A caps. So you don't have to worry about, oh man, N, shift, whatever letter. Come on, guys, no. Okay? Learn these commands on the hyperkeys and it's going to make it so much easier. Putting word endings, capitalizing stuff, deleting words, shaving letters, all of this stuff. Okay? So the more you mess with it, the more you're going to understand what it's trying to do and what it does.
Let's see what's meant by type over tracking. If I place my cursor on a word and press hyperkey, N to type in new text. Then, after typing, press the enter key a couple of times to chop off the type over. Total Eclipse remembers the replacement.
And that's just what I was saying, okay, about remembering the replacement. So if you go through there and, you know, every time that you hit Krzyzewski, you typed it KH instead of KR, okay? Krzyzewski is spelled KR, okay? I don't know if y'all know that, but
It's KR.
anyway.
You would spell it.
Huh?
We tried to spell it.
You did?
We were way off.
Yeah, it's Krzyzewski, all right? It's KRYCIECZ or something like that, I don't know. So it doesn't even look like the way it's spelled, but whatever. But let's just say you spelled it KH. You know, Krzyzewski, KH, and it's supposed to be KR, and you did it throughout the whole document. Well, there's a way to kind of fix it, but if you don't, then every time you go through the document, you can find it, and every time to replace it, you do the N, the real spelling is going to come up. You do enter, puts a real one in there, go back into hyperkeys, enter again, deletes it. Okay? So that's one good thing about having that type over tracking. Okay?
User settings, programming, type over tracking. Eclipse remembers the replacement. User settings, programming, type.
So to get into user settings, did we go over this? Alt U is user settings. So go in there. Alt U. Go into programming. And it should bring you here to this window. Everybody got it? Yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Over tracking. This line was added automatically.
So go into type over tracking and press OK and see if there's anything in there.
My box just disappeared.
Huh?
Mine
The
too.
box just disappeared.
The
Yeah,
box
it just
disappeared.
Yeah.
It's sitting back here.
Because you said Alt U.
Okay, going to
Yep.
program.
Program.
Nothing.
And then type over tracking.
Type over tracking.
Okay. It's gone. You just
Okay.
got it?
Yeah, mine did the same thing.
Okay.
The thing about,
Is that what should come up?
yes.
Modify.
If you double click, traffic, Alt U.
Say modify. Put modify.
No, double click. Double click.
Came up with something.
Okay, that's what we need to do. Go into Alt U. I don't know why it's doing that. That doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, go into Alt U, go into programming, go to type over tracking, and double click it. And it should bring up your list. I don't know why when you click it and go to OK, it takes you out. I have no idea. It could just be because of the, yeah, I don't know. I was going to make something up, but
I click modify, it took me to the same place.
I'm sorry?
I put modify, instead of, okay. There's a little square that says modify.
And it took you there?
It took me there.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to show you some of the things that you've overtracked. Type over. Okay? So it's going to show you some of the things. So it's going to show you if you want to modify them, change them, delete them, all kinds of stuff. Okay? You can add, okay? And it's going to show you.
Let's see what it means. If I place my cursor on this same word somewhere else in my transcript, Eclipse will offer to automatically replace it for me and save me some typing. Let's see it in action. I'll place my cursor here and press hyperkey N. There's the type over suggestion. It may look a bit distracting, but it could certainly save me some typing. To accept the suggestion, just press the Enter key. Otherwise, start typing. There's no need to press extra keys like Escape or Backspace just to get rid of the type over suggestion. Also, keep in mind that if you type in a new word and press the space bar, that's not considered a type over that needs to be tracked.
You see what it's saying right there? Y'all get that?
Yes.
It's pretty straightforward. So,
Final note, type over tracking is a typing feature. It's not a global replacement or a dictionary entry. Normal.
do y'all get that? It's not a global thing, so it's not going to do it throughout the whole document. Now, if you want it done throughout the whole document, now you have to global it. Okay? How do you global?
Control D. Control G.
Control G. Or in hyperkeys, what's the first letter of global?
G.
G. Okay? So in hyperkeys, what they're going to do is they're going to try to match up the letter pretty close to what you're trying to do. Okay? Like on insert, they do in. You see what they're trying to do there? Insert. Whatever. Y'all don't have to laugh at my jokes. Just I'm gonna laugh.
Give me the
So
stick so I can.
yeah, whack me. So I mean, and that's what they're telling you right here. Okay. So if you want to global it, it's something totally different. You want to change it throughout the whole document. Now you have to global it. That's not. This isn't global it. This is just type over tracking. So it's going to track every time that you change that word. That's all it's going to do. So maybe you don't want object, you don't want that where object is every time. You just want it sometimes. Okay? Then that's what you need to do, is the type over tracking. You don't want to global it. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Is it sinking?
But then the global is only for the document, because that's what.
Global is going to change it every time. So if you want object to say that every time, then you need to global object.
I thought global was going, adding words to your dictionary.
Well, no. I mean, what it's doing is you can do a Control J, which puts it into a job dictionary. So you don't have to worry about it being in your main dictionary. And we're going to talk about that because you don't want to put everything in your main dictionary. Okay? So be careful with that, especially like with proper names, you know, some kind of weird stuff, and it's like, you know, I'll just put it in my dictionary. But maybe, yeah, like Krzyzewski. You know, and you know, say you go take the deposition of Mr. Krzyzewski, okay? And, well, you're not going to write out Krzyzewski every time. And if you do, you're probably not going to be in this profession very long because your hands are going to fall completely off, okay? Because what you want to do is write smarter, not harder, okay? And you're going to hear me say that a lot. Write smarter, not harder. And I'm going to go a little bit off track, you know, from where we are, but I mean, when you're taking your test and they give you the preview words and it's Mr. Krzyzewski, guess what? You don't want to type that every time, okay? I don't care if it's Mr. Adams. That's 2 strokes. You don't need it. I mean, or let's just say it's 3 words. Mr. Constantine, okay? Whatever. 3 strokes. You're going to 3-stroke it every time? No. I just do Mr. Con. Mr. Adams, Mr. Adamsonville. I'm just making stuff up because it's kind of longer. You don't want to stroke that out every time. Mr. Ad. Okay? So when she's giving you, or he's giving you the preview words on your test, and it's like, you know what? I'm not stroking that out every time. You write out the proper spelling, Adamsville, and Adamsville. Okay? And to the side you put add, brief. So when you do add, and it's like, and you're going through there, editing your job, getting it ready, and it's like, Mr. Add, what's that? I don't even remember. Look down on your sheet, oh, that was Adamsville. Okay. That's writing smarter, not harder. Okay? But anyway, I mean, that's what they were talking about on the type over. So be careful what you want to do, okay, and putting stuff in your main dictionary, okay?
The system is constantly tracking your type overs, but you can lock entries in your type over tracking table, which is symbolized by an exclamation point. Here I've added these 2 lines because my steno for doesn't and accident is almost identical. I don't want to create a conflict entry in my dictionary, but I do want a fast way to insert the replacement text from time to time.
You see what it's saying? And that's what type over tracking is. Okay? Now, say you do accident and doesn't very close. Okay? And instead of creating a conflict, because you write them so similarly, and instead of having to go through there and press 1, 2, for whichever conflict you want, all you do is do a type over tracking. So every time it comes on, you press in, you wrote accident, meant to be doesn't, what doesn't comes up. Press enter, put you back in the hyperkeys, enter, deletes accident. Now you have doesn't because that's what you wanted to have. Make sense? Yeah? Okay? So that's what they're trying to tell you right there. Any questions about type over tracking? If you do, bring it up. Any questions? No? All right. Okay, I think we're going to skip over this. It's not really that important. Okay, everybody knows how to use a mouse, right? Pretty simple.
I don't.
Huh? That's why people get whacked with a stick. Being silly. So, I mean, if you want me to, we can do it. It's not real long, but it's just kind of redundant. Would y'all much rather go through it? Anyone? It's not gonna hurt my feelings, I really don't care, but I mean, if you know how to use a mouse, all it's gonna do is give you the different, and you know how to left click, double click, and then right click is gonna give you totally different options, right? Y'all know this?
Yes.
Guys, if you don't be scared. You know, and I'm gonna tell you this right now. The dumbest question is the one not answered, the one not asked, okay? So if you don't understand, tell me. I don't really care. Because everyone may be like, are you?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Because everyone may be like, you know what, I don't want to be that one person that, well, you know what, if you're thinking it, someone else is probably thinking it too. They just don't want to say anything either, okay? So don't be scared to ask questions, okay? And I don't care if I just repeated it. If I just went over it, repeated it, I'll do it one more time. If I got to do it 4 times, somebody's probably going to get whacked, but 3 times I don't mind. No, guys, ask questions, okay? That's the only way you're going to learn, is to ask questions. Do it. If it doesn't do what you think it's supposed to do, you may just be doing something just slightly different, and maybe having to do with your function button, something like that. So, just ask questions, okay? Y'all want me to do the mouse and key commands?
No.
Okay. Toolbar configuration.
If you're a mouse lover, you'll appreciate the many icons that are built into Total Eclipse. So let's see how to arrange the toolbars to meet your needs. You can pull down the window menu to customize your toolbars.
And do that right now. Get out of your job, go into the main Eclipse window. Right here, where it has the gray window. Go into Windows, or Window, and then come down to Customize Toolbars. Or, you can remember it's Control-Shift F1, okay? Now guys, use these things right here. Use these little things right here, because they give you all of the commands. So if you want to know how to move, something or move over or whatever, bring that down and it shows you exactly what it is. Move right, move left, blah, blah, blah. Same thing with the window. It's going to show you, do you want a full screen? Do you want to view, what your main picture is going to be like? You can view the toggles, okay? So you can go in there and kind of mess with that stuff. Be careful with messing with it too much. But like going in there, this is going to show you kind of how to mess with the icons that you want on there, okay?
You can select large icons or small icons, but we'll show you how to do this in a separate visualizer. For now, let's open the dialog that lets you toggle on or off the various elements of your display. The speed key for this dialog is Shift-Control F3. Here you'll find checkboxes to...
Okay, Shift-Control F3, or go into that, View Toggles. And this is what it's going to show you right here. Is everybody there? Everyone see this window right here?
Yes.
Okay.
turn on the various toolbars of your system, and there's also a fast way to turn off all the toolbars.
You see what they just did? Go in there and mess with it. Go in there and press 1, then press 2, then press 3, just like they're doing right here. And it's going to show you all of the icons. Yeah, ridiculous. Okay? Now you can do whatever you want. Okay? If you're here at 6 and you like it there, help yourself, but you probably need to get whacked with a stick. But it's ridiculous, okay? Because what you're doing is you're putting icons up here that you don't really need, okay? That's why they have the hyper keys and stuff like that, because it's commands, okay? And all these are just commands. Well, you don't need these commands, okay? Because you can do them already. So really what you need is just number 1, okay? Now you can turn them all off, and it'll turn them all off, or just go through and click all of them again, and then just leave the number 1 on. Okay?
If you want to make a little extra space, the speed key for turn off all toolbars is Shift Control F2. The View Toggles dialog is also where you control the appearance of the info bar. This is the display column at the left edge of the Eclipse screen.
You see what it's telling you right there? So if you don't have this window, that's where you change that. You want to have it on. You want to have info bar checked. Is info bar checked on everyone's?
Yes.
If it's not, turn it on.
Here is where automagic choices appear most typically. So as you move your cursor from word to word, Eclipse offers you the most likely editing choices.
You want automagic on. Does everybody have automagic on?
Yes.
Okay.
You can, however, also display automagic choices in a small pop-up window. We'll show that in a separate visualizer. Also, the visualizer that is specifically about the info bar will show you how there you can see translation statistics in real time, as well as an audio indicator and auto-brief suggestions to make it easier to write.
Okay, right there, what they're telling you is like when you're doing real time, there's going to be a little box up there. Okay?
If you're a most likely editing choices, as well as...
Okay, and by putting these on, it's going to tell you what your translation stats are, your auto briefs, and your waveform display. Your waveform display is that little thing that jumps that's saying that it's recording. Well, it's probably not going to do it on yours because y'all's machines don't do it. So it's more for the reporter machines, okay? But, I mean, when you're writing, it's going to tell you how fast you're writing, how many translations, how many untranslates you have, how many conflicts you have, and it's just a little box. And what you can do, put your arrow on it, left click, and you can move it around wherever you want it. So if it's in the middle of the page, you don't want it in the middle of the page. Move it around wherever you want it. If you don't want it on there, I don't use it, just unclick these, okay? It's kind of good. I mean, it's kind of cool because like when you're writing, it'll tell you how fast you're writing, you know? And whether it's super accurate or not, I mean, I've had some heated discussions, taking down heated discussions between the judge and the attorneys one time, or actually several times. And I mean, it was saying 300. I mean, and I was getting it. I was writing fast. Now, it wasn't 300 for several minutes, it was 300 maybe for several seconds. But I mean, I was getting it, okay? Now, whether it was actually 300, maybe for a few seconds, maybe 270, 280, 290, you know? So I mean, sometimes you have to really go fast, you know, so when they say 225, that's the minimum. Okay, that's the minimum you should be at. And you would think that it's a top, and it's not, okay? But I mean, that'll come later. That's gonna come later, okay? But that's how you change it right there, okay? Any questions about this? Pretty straightforward. Mess with it if you want. You know, if you want to, great. I'm telling you, with 6.1, it takes up too much room, okay? You're not gonna have as much room for editing the job. So it's gonna take up too much space on your screen, okay? So you want to minimize that and just keep what you need, which is usually this. And that's all I have too, is a 1. Okay? Any questions? All right. Now they have these little things where you can go through here and kind of, mess with the thing. So go through there, and if you want to do, the little lessons or whatever, you can. And they do these things where you can go in and overtype or whatever. So you mess with it, okay? And say it doesn't come back. No big deal, okay? Go in here and mess with these things. You're not going to mess it up, okay? And even if you do mess it up, all you do is come up here to help, install lesson, pick the lesson that you were just in, and it's going to reinstall the whole lesson again. So you're not going to mess it up. So they want you to go in there and mess with this stuff, okay? That's the whole reason they did it, and to tell you to do it, is to go in there and mess with it or whatever. You're not going to mess it up, because all you have to do is just install the lesson again, okay? Okay, go into the lesson. Go into the lesson. Hyperkeys.
It's under help.
Huh? Everybody in? Come down to the bottom where you see this. It should be pretty close to the bottom. You see where this little thing is? It's almost to the bottom. Got it? Everyone have it?
Yes.
Yes.
And what they want you to do here is just kind of mess around with this thing, okay? So put your cursor right here. It doesn't matter, anywhere in there. Anywhere in this little paragraph right here. Make sure that you're in hyperkeys, which is
Z.
Alt-Z. Make sure that you're in hyperkeys and that you're somewhere in this paragraph, okay? Now press E. Did it take you to this field? Huh?
It brought it up, yeah.
Everybody's in this field? Highlighted?
Yes.
Should look like that.
Yes.
Everybody have that?
Yes.
Orlando?
We're supposed to be in a lesson.
Yeah, you're in the lesson. Are you in the lesson?
Like said it.
Yeah, get into the lesson. Get out of that.
The help and install it.
No, go. Get out of that.
Just get out of it. Get out of that. Or get out of it.
No, no, no.
So in the lesson, it's like, right?
Mhm. Lesson plan. Go down to the bottom. It's not quite all the way to the bottom, so it's pretty close to it. No, it's further down. Further down. Yeah. Get in the hyperkeys. Get in the hyperkeys. Oh, yeah. Okay, and then do E. Yeah. Okay, everybody in? Everybody's here? Now type your name in there.
Out of hyperkeys though, right?
Huh?
Are they in hyperkeys?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, once that window's open, it doesn't really matter. Got it? Everybody type their name in?
Yep.
And then just press OK.
Press OK.
It doesn't let the
My
space.
computer's restarting.
Replace the link,
Huh?
name on the
I said
bottom.
my computer's restarting and updating, so I'm looking at first.
Why?
It was just told me I was gonna do it.
Unbox
Huh?
with the
It's
date.
on
It's
that
just,
way.
yeah,
Automatic
it's
update.
just an automatic restart because it's
Huh?
Just throwing updates.
Yeah.
It doesn't allow us to space bar in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh?
I had to reinstall her lessons, and now it's doing that. She didn't have any of her lessons there.
Really?
Yeah, because I guess from when she had her stuff reloaded.
Oh, okay. So it's all there now?
No, it's doing that. I mean, they were there, but it's not letting her into it. They are there.
So that's probably why she had to reset hers. It looks like mine's locked. I have to reset mine. So just reset mine? Huh? I don't know. I need a whole new
Get out of it.
computer.
Get out of it completely.
Well, it's locked, so I'm gonna have to shut down.
You're gonna have
Control, like reset the whole thing. That's probably what.
Did you press OK?
Yeah.
So replacing the name on the
you
bottom.
can't just shut it down.
Yeah, it
Your
should
task
put your name
manager.
in here.
I'm gonna try.
So that.
And it should go to the next
So
one.
the E looks for a name or something?
E is enter.
There you go.
Enter like a field. So fill in a blank is what it does. So and we'll do this is going to be an Eclipse too. But this is just kind of a little lesson that they have here or whatever, and they want you to kind of mess with it. And this is one of the hyper keys, is E.
So is it Alt E?
No, it's just E. In hyper keys.
See if your lessons are there.
In hyper keys, it's E.
Hyper keys.
And then that's what it does. So these little fields that are highlighted, and I'm going to show you how to put these fields in. It's probably going to be, in Eclipse too. But I'll show you how to put these little fields in. And then, what you want to do is this deposition of. Well, you don't want to put David Zarate because you're not going to take David Zarate's deposition every time. Okay? So you want to leave it blank or put in there the witness. You can put whatever you want. And it creates this little field right here. And then when you go through and you need to change this thing, then all you do is press E and it takes you to these highlighted fields, which are called fill in the blanks. Okay? And then just put in today's date.
Why is it telling us to expire?
Just end it through task.
And see how it keeps going? So like if you create a field and you put like the witness in there, and you had the one up here that had witness also, so next time you come to a witness, it's automatically going to bring up that witness's name. You won't have to type it again. So it's like, do you want David Zarate again? Yeah, I do, because it's the deposition of David Zarate. It's just, now I'm starting the examination of it, and I need his name right there also. Okay? So you can type in your name right there, or just press enter. And then when it goes to, questions by, then you just type in the attorney that you want. So that's all it's doing. That's all it's telling you how to do, is just try to insert in these fields. Okay? Got it?
Yes.
Got it.
Any questions about that?
No.
So it takes it to the next field, right?
Yes, sir, it
And
should.
What are the fields? Okay, how do you go to the next one?
He told us to go ahead.
You just press E again.
I sent them back.
It should go to the next field, but if it doesn't, then you just press E again, and then it'll take you in there. Okay?
Yeah.
Or,
That was happening the first day of class. Wasn't sure why. You should, if we're gonna be using the lesson player.
What most Eclipse users don't realize is that many Windows Explorer functions are available whenever you see a listing of file names. So if I highlight this file's name, I can simply press the delete key to send this file to the recycle bin. I could also highlight a file's name and either write available whenever you see a listing of file names. So if I highlight this file's name, I can simply press the delete key to send this file to the recycle bin. I could also highlight a file's name and either right-click or press Shift F10 to open a context menu. You notice I can rename the file from here, delete it, copy it, cut it, perhaps paste it, and there's also the option to send to the desktop.
You see what it's telling you? So if you want to do something with a file, this is what it's telling you how to do. Okay? Go into Alt-D. Go into Alt-D.
Get out of the visualizer.
Go into the main page that says Eclipse, just the gray page. Everybody there?
Yes. Alt D.
E like elephant.
Alt-E. E like elephant, yeah. Alt-E. That brings up all of your transcripts. Is really what it is. I mean, you know, when you go through here, let's see if it does it.
Rename the file from here, context.
It opened up my file in lesson.
In the lesson
I
plan?
have a list of lessons.
Yeah, because the last thing that you messed with was the lessons. So if you scroll down, it may show you your jobs. Does it?
It's under your name, like,
Mine didn't do that. It didn't go to my desktop. It just went straight to the file. Solves the problem, right?
it went into it here. Did you see that? Like when I go to help and the list player, it doesn't work. But right now, he said if I go to my transcript, I can bring up lessons right here. And
it'll work?
open it up.
Will it let you scroll down?
Yeah, like it let me go down too. Once it.
Go into transcript.
Like it did it just a while ago. I scrolled down.
I think it's because you're in the tutorial that it's bringing up those things. So you may need to get completely out of it, which you don't need to. You don't have to. But a lot of times when you're doing stuff in there and you try to go in and do it and it's not doing it, you need to get out of Eclipse, the whole thing, then get back in. Because what it does, and it does it on my computer too, like after teaching the lesson, I try to go back in and it goes into like tutorial mode. So then I have to go back in and click my name. Because if you go back in and try to change it, it'll show you the tutorial and then it'll show you your name and you need to pick your name and then that'll go in and then you can get back into your job. So if for some reason you can't get into your jobs and you want to mess around, then that's how you do it. You just need to get out and then get back in. Okay? But they're going to show you how to do this.
Next menu. You notice I can.
You know, so if you want to rename, you know, the file, you know, it was, I think it was Dennis Arney, and it was supposed to be Denise, and you need to rename it, then you just come down here. Highlight it, right-click it on the mouse, or your little keypad, whatever. Come down to rename, and then you can just rename it. It'll highlight it, and then you just type it in, enter, and it renames it. Or you can send it to somewhere else. You can cut, copy, delete, all kinds of stuff. Okay, so if you need to do that, then that's how you do it, okay?
Rename the file from here, delete it, copy it, cut it, perhaps paste it, and there's also the option to send to the desktop to create a shortcut, which will make it easy to reopen a file that won't be transcribed in a single sitting.
You're supposed to be able to right-click on those files?
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause mine,
Or you gotta highlight it, then
Yeah.
right click.
mine's not
It's
bringing
not?
anything up. Mhm.
Get out. Go into Alt-E. Get out of that. Go into transcript. It might be because you're in the lesson there.
I already,
Because your lessons keep coming up.
yeah, I already exited out the whole thing though after, because I remember that happened the last time. Thank you. Sorry. Okay, so Alt-E.
Right there. Go into, you may be doing it on the wrong place, try to do it on there. No, over here.
Oh,
Try to get in there. Right there. On the little box.